proposal from one of Toronto's top mayoral candidates.
I'm calling for the island airport to be turned into a park. It could be a magnificent 216-acre park.
Gil Penalosa says he wants to replace Billy Bishop Airport with more green space. More details on his ambitious plan and what do Torontonians think. Plus,
We have a responsibility to publicly say thank you and publicly acknowledge their service and their sacrifice.
a procession bringing the bodies of the two officers shot and killed in Innisfil back to their hometowns today as people line the streets and overpasses to honor them. And
I can tell you in the last few weeks, it's been at least 5 patients that we've had to divert from the normal sort of referral and catchment area to other parts of the province.
as more children's hospitals in Ontario are being forced to send patients to other regions, experts warn cold and flu season will soon add to the burden. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. A big announcement today from a high-profile Toronto mayoral candidate. Gil Penalosa says if he's elected mayor, he will turn the city's downtown island airport, Billy Bishop, into a park. Now, he says it would bring a lot more value to the city than the airport. But not everybody is on board with the plan. Patrick Swadden has reaction tonight.
I'm calling for the island airport to be turned into a park. It could be a magnificent 216-acre park for everyone in Toronto and beyond.
Gil Penalosa is John Tory's leading challenger right now to be the next mayor of Toronto. He's saying a giant park in place of Toronto Island's airport would be better for the economy and contribute to better well-being, and not just for Torontonians.
Turning this airport into a park is not only good for Toronto, I think it's good for the country. I don't see any negative issue for anybody anywhere in Canada.
But not everybody agrees. Billy Bishop Airport moves around 2.8 million passengers a year, and some say Toronto's growing population requires a second airport.
Pearson has its issues, and until we get Pearson sorted out with, all-day train service, more frequent accessibility to Pearson, I don't think we can get rid of the downtown airport.
Perhaps the biggest voice of disagreement coming from rival candidate and current mayor John Tory. A spokesperson for Tory's campaign says he has no intention of opening up discussions on the airport if elected. The mayor believes a growing city like Toronto, that is a beacon at home and around the world for business and opportunity, has been helped tremendously by having the downtown airport. Many who want the airport to stay are in favor of seeing more green spaces, but would prefer different locations.
I definitely agree that we need more green space. We need more dog parks, especially in this area.
There's all these other plans and opportunities, and we should look at those rather than tearing down a pretty useful airport that a lot of people downtown like to use.
And others just want to see more detail to the plan.
It could be very interesting, maybe an extension of Wards Island, Hanlon's Point, that sort of thing. I would have to do some more research before I could say definitively whether I like it.
And there would be a lot of time to research the plan if Penalosa wins. The City of Toronto's existing lease with the airport expires in 2033, though Penalosa says he wants to get started right away.
I think that an ideal city is one where people want to sleep at home, but people want to live outside. And the island airport as a park is going to help us meet that goal.
Patrick Swadden, CBC News, Toronto.
If you were planning on voting early in the municipal elections but haven't yet, well, you're out of luck. Advance polls have now closed. Today was the last day of advance voting after being open for 8 straight days. The next and final chance to vote will be on Election Day. That is Monday, October 24th. The bodies of 2 police officers shot and killed in Innisfil earlier this week have been transported back to their hometowns. A procession from the coroner's office in North York to Simcoe County saw hundreds of first responders and members of the public lining the streets to pay their respects. Ali Chiasson has this story.
Another senseless tragedy. It's just unreal.
Today, the bodies of Constable Devin Northrup and Constable Morgan Russell were taken from the coroner, where they've been since Tuesday night's tragedy.
It doesn't feel like a lot, but it's what we can do, and we wouldn't really want to be anywhere else other than to be here to support.
They're being driven home to Simcoe County. The procession is lined with first responders from all over Ontario, a group of people that has been rocked by 4 police deaths within a month.
It seems unbelievable, and yet I think what amazes me is, despite all of that, that day and the next day, these police officers and their colleagues again put their uniforms on, continue to go to work, and continue to be our guardians and to keep us safe. And I will spend the rest of my life being appreciative and thankful for all that they do.
According to the Special Investigations Unit, neither Constable Northrup or Constable Russell ever drew their weapons when they were responding to a distress call on Tuesday night. The person they were attempting to speak with at the Innisfil home, Christopher Doncaster, was armed with a semi-automatic rifle.
They were trying to do something good and they lost their life. It's sad.
Members of the public lined the procession route too.
They were stressed. This should never ever happen. Never ever happen. These poor men go out to do a job and don't even get a chance to go back home again to their families.
At Innisfil's South Simcoe Police Department, the memorial grows.
It's so tragic. They did not deserve this. They left in the morning to go and work, and then look what happened to them.
In Toronto, a memorial run in the officer's honor.
Do you think tonight will be particularly emotional just because it's so fresh?
100%. I think it's going to be very emotional for a lot of officers here because some knew him and just the fact of how they were killed.
Constable Northrup participated in these runs. Actually, he was one of the directors for Simcoe County, was he?
He was the team captain, so we have team captains for each service, and he did it for the last 4 years. So not 3 weeks ago, he was running for fallen officers, and now we're running for him.
After the Toronto Police Memorial Run tonight, I would say, sadly, the next big event here for these officers would be their funerals. We're still waiting for more information on where and when, but they are likely to take place in Simcoe County and also possibly at a larger venue to accommodate the crowds of people who will want to come by to say goodbye. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
A family in Markham is desperate for answers after a crash claimed the life of a brother and sister. The siblings were traveling in a car with their mother when it was hit by a dump truck on Wednesday. Their mom remains in hospital tonight in a coma as police continue their investigation into how the crash happened. Greg Ross spoke with the family today.
It's just, for me, I just don't believe it.
Durga Sarveswaran is still in shock after learning that her 2 cousins, Nilakshana and Patiran Puvanendran, were killed in a car crash earlier this week. Her aunt, Sri Rathi Shanmuganathan, was also in the car at the time and has been in hospital ever since.
She's in critical care at the moment, but they've done procedures and we've done a follow-up yesterday. They said that she's getting better.
But she's still in a coma, and the family is not sure if she will be well enough to attend her kids' funerals. Their uncle Suvan Pupalasinam has taken responsibility of planning them.
When she wake up, she's going to definitely ask me where are my kids. I have to tell her this is what happened, and then I want to see whether she can make it for the funeral.
The crash happened at the intersection of Markham Road and Elson Street. In this dashcam video provided by the family, the car the mother and 2 kids were driving in is seen entering the intersection when it is T-boned by a dump truck.
There was no sign of, slowing down or he was putting any brake or anything like that.
The family says they have received very little information from police.
We want the answers and to find out exactly what happened, but of course it's not going to replace anything, but we want some kind of a justice to make sure it won't happen to any other children.
So we just need more clarification. What was the reasoning? How did it happen? Why did this happen? And why was it then and there?
The family says the police tell them it will be another few days before they wrap up their investigation. In the meantime, they say they have not released the bodies of the 2 siblings who died in the crash. Police say they're still looking for witnesses and any video of the crash. No charges have been laid at this time. Greg Ross, CBC News, Markham.
An important update now for parents and a significant development in contract negotiations between the province and education workers. The 2 sides are now agreeing to enter mediation.
So the mediator will come into place and they will work with all parties as we move forward towards what could be a strike deadline or a collective agreement is reached.
The Canadian Union of Public Employees says it welcomes the development. QP represents about 55,000 education workers, including librarians, custodians, and early childhood educators. They've been without a contract since the end of August. The union is looking for annual wage increases of just under 12%. The Ford government is offering raises of 2% a year. Last week, QP members voted 96% in favor of a strike. The education minister releasing a statement today saying the government is pleased to enter the mediation process. Let's go to Dahlia Ashry now with a first look at the forecast. And Dahlia, a pretty pleasant day today to end the work week. How's the next couple of days looking?
That's right, Keldo. Mainly a great day earlier today. What a way to kick off the weekend. We saw the dry conditions, some sunshine, a little bit of cloud coverage. I can't say the same for the next few days. We are expecting to see some more wet conditions and also some sunshine is on the way, though. We had a low pressure system making its way in across the province. And that's what's giving us those cloudy conditions over the next few days. Also those cooler temperatures as well because of this cold front that's also making its way in from southwestern Ontario. So that's giving us those cooler nights ahead as well. So we'll be seeing some rain, not tonight, but mostly heading into tomorrow morning. We're going to see some rain, about 70% chance of showers. And then throughout the day, it'll slowly clear up. We'll get a mixture of sun and clouds. And then as we head into Sunday, we get a little bit more of that cloud coverage. As for tonight, temperatures will drop. It'll be 11 degrees, still those double digits. Tomorrow, 13 degrees, 70% chance of rain during the day. You'll need your umbrella, a windy one as well. We'll have more on just how windy it's going to get.
All right, thanks so much, Dahlia. Rental costs in Toronto just keep going up and up.
Toronto's rental market just continues to zoom up in prices. While people sat on the sidelines during the pandemic, now they're renting and back in the city. More smaller units are in demand now, and you have interest rates going up, which is making it very difficult for people who are rentals to get into the homeownership market.
A new report from rentals.ca shows the year-over-year average monthly rent in September was up 28% for a one-bedroom apartment. A two-bedroom apartment also increased by the same amount. From Ottawa to Toronto to London, Ontario's largest children's hospitals are sounding the alarm after being forced to send patients to other regions. And as Natalie Kalada tells us, cold and flu season will soon be adding pressure to an already strained hospital system.
In Emerge, we have 72 patients, 47 waiting to be seen, and a 6.5-hour wait.
The emergency room in Ottawa's Children's Hospital last week was in crisis. This week, CHEO says things are better, but they are still operating at maximum capacity.
I can tell you in the last few weeks, it's been at least 5 patients that we've had to divert from the normal sort of referral and catchment area to other parts of the province.
Transferring patients to other regions for care isn't new, but experts say the frequency of late is concerning. McMaster's Children's Hospital in Hamilton tells CBC it's happening more often. While London Health Sciences Centre says in the last 3 months, they've accepted more than 10 patient transfers from outside their region. And Sick Kids in Toronto is reporting the number of kids needing hospital care at this time of year is something they've, quote, never seen before. Hospital leaders say the number of kids presenting with respiratory infections and other viral illnesses is higher than expected for this time of year.
It's important to know that young children, 5 and under, are at high risk for influenza. If they get the flu, they can end up in hospital. And that is different from COVID. In COVID, we didn't see that COVID affected children particularly worse. But with the flu and some of these other viruses like RSV, like enterovirus, they tend to affect children worse. Even healthy children can get very sick from these viruses.
It's why Toronto Public Health is encouraging patients to get their kids the flu shot as for a permanent solution. The problem, says Dee Giovanni, is complex. Doctor shortages combined with pandemic pressures have compounded an already strained system.
We have families that can't get access to care in the community, they wind up having no choice but to come to a pediatric hospital. They're sicker because they've been waiting longer. They're frustrated because they've been waiting longer. And, it's at a time where, we are limited in our capacity to expand.
CBC asked the Minister of Health for comment. She did not respond to our request. Natalie Kalata, CBC.
The man at the center of a years-long court case that grabbed international headlines has been sentenced. Aidan Coben, who was convicted of extorting BC teenager Amanda Todd, will serve 13 years in prison. The decision came 2 months after Coben was convicted of extortion, child luring, and pornography offenses. He is already serving an 11-year sentence on similar charges in the Netherlands. The defense had argued that that should mean a shorter sentence here. Now, 10 years ago, Todd posted a video describing the online harassment she'd endured. Shortly after that, she died by suicide. She was just 15 years old. More signs tonight of a medical situation under strain. An Ajax woman is sharing her struggle to find a family doctor in Ontario, hoping it will lead to change. Her advocacy started after she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. The 39-year-old single mom saying her late diagnosis highlights the healthcare challenges many Black women face. Talia Ricci has her story.
When an uncomfortable pain in her chest wasn't going away, Nadine McKenzie spent 2 weeks trying to get into a walk-in clinic and calling Telehealth Ontario.
And then one day I said, I forget it. I just need to go to the emergency room and just take the 8 hours and just sit down and get this checked out.
Tests eventually revealed the single mother of 2 young girls had stage 4 breast cancer. McKenzie says she would have treated the situation with more urgency if there were more resources available for Black women.
I was not able to find any breast that looks like mine when I searched for breast cancer. I was able to find white breast of every kind at every stage of cancer. How could something be disproportionately affecting us and us be so unaware of it?
One doctor we spoke with said Black patients have a harder time accessing family physicians and are more likely to rely on walk-in clinics.
And I'm a breast surgeon in Scarborough, and the majority of my patients are Black or racialized patients. And on average, all of us would say that we see later stage disease than, in our communities than elsewhere. I think it starts from not knowing that this is something that can affect your community. We need to increase the amount of family doctors and also improve access to them.
In a statement, the Ministry of Health says it's taking several measures to increase the number of family physicians, including supporting the movement of physicians between provinces and finding ways that internationally educated doctors can play a part in the healthcare system.
She has friends.
McKenzie is preparing to undergo several rounds of chemotherapy alongside her support system. She wants to encourage friends and other women to get screened.
It shouldn't have to get to a point where it's someone that you know. It should be like, we know that we need to go get tested.
With her young daughters top of mind, she's choosing to maintain a positive outlook.
I know that I'm not done raising them, and I know that they're going to watch me go through this journey. And despite how afraid I really am inside, I can't show them that.
She hopes that sharing her story provokes change. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
You are looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline. Has been mainly clear tonight, becoming partly cloudy overnight. Currently, it is 12 degrees in the city. Let's go back to Dahlia now with a look at your long-range forecast. And Dahlia, today, staying mostly dry, but tomorrow we might need our umbrellas.
That's right, Kelda. Beautiful conditions earlier today, starting off the Friday on a bright note. It was mainly dry, but we won't be heading into the weekend with those same conditions. We have some Arctic air that's going to be making its way through, and that's going to be giving us those cooler temperatures, the windy conditions, and also the cooler air and the rain as well. So that's something just to look forward to over the next few days. We will have a day where we will see a bit of a break from that rain, but tomorrow we could be seeing winds gusting up to 60 kilometers an hour for some areas. Now, that will change for Sunday, though. Although we won't be seeing rain in some areas, it still will be windy I mean, there we go. Saturday, 1 p.m., 60 kilometers an hour. Like I said, it will slowly ease up around the evening to 38 kilometers an hour. Still fairly windy weekend overall. So if you have anything, just be careful it doesn't fly away, especially tomorrow. Like I said, in the morning, it's going to be raining. So if you have your umbrella with you, just be careful, hold on tight. And then for the most part, though, we will be seeing windy conditions and that cooler air because of that trough system, because of that low pressure system mixing in, giving us the cooler temperatures and those windy conditions. Tonight, temperatures will drop to 11 degrees in Toronto, still in the single digits for some areas like Mississauga, Markham, and St. Catharines and Ottawa. So a little cooler out there, but mainly overall double digits for tonight. Now, like I was saying, Sunday, though, we do get a break, so we do have that dry condition, so a great chance to head outdoors and enjoy that while it lasts. If you haven't been to a pumpkin patch yet, that's the day to do it, because Saturday it's going to be mostly a damp one in the morning. Now, Monday, there is a 40% chance of rain as you commute to work. You'll probably need your umbrella. Be careful out on the roads, and in some areas, it could be also a mixture of rain and flurries, so please be careful out there as well. Tuesday, we get a bit of a break back to those dry conditions, and then Wednesday back to those damp conditions. So we're really getting a mixture of cool air, windy conditions, rain, really quite seasonal temperatures, and even midweek might go below seasonal temperatures. Kelda?
Thanks so much, Dahlia. Finally tonight, climate activists took their cause to London's National Gallery today, throwing tomato soup at a painting by Vincent van Gogh. The painting was covered in glass. The gallery says there's only minor damage to the frame. After splashing the soup, the protesters glued their hands to the wall. They were later arrested. Now, it's not clear why they picked the canvas, one of Van Gogh's iconic sunflower paintings. Members of the same group had previously glued themselves to a frame of an early copy of Da Vinci's Last Supper. And that's our show for you tonight and for the week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night and a wonderful weekend.